It may already be evening time here on Friday, September 8th, 2017, but I think I still owe you a market recap. Let's take a look at what happened in a relatively quiet Friday. The Dow Jones was up 21,797 and some change, up 13. It wasn't drastic up, just like the S&P's down, isn't too drastic. 24,601 down by 3 and a little bit. The TSX 14,985 down by 39. Now I would imagine the TSX, see, that's the one that kind of baffles me just a little bit. I'm slightly befuddled as to why this is happening. See, I know we got 25 basis point rise in the interest rate. We had that a few days ago. That should be behind us. We had good unemployment numbers today. We had really good numbers out of Toronto yesterday saying that, like the province, which is one of the strongest provinces, but the strongest province in all of Canada, was going to run a much smaller deficit than they thought by like a very, very large amount. And then we've had great earnings through the summer. So I can't figure out the TSX, even on days when it gets good news, these unemployment news today, the job creation, even though the job creation number is a little bit skewed, it's still pretty good. The Looney's at its 3-year high right now. The TSX is it's one of those things. Canada is still finding its footing, I think. Even though Canada's on the right path, we're still going to have days like this where, for no other reason but the market's got to move, it happened to move down. So we go back to the United States and the S&P, and we look at some of the big gainers. And the big gainers happen to be XL Group, Everest Regroup, Chubb, and a whole bunch of other insurers and reinsurers that made big gains today after dragging the entire market down for the whole week, to the point where the S&P is down for the week, but not here on Friday. I'm not sure if maybe some people making some of these bets found out that maybe it was a little oversold, that some of the calamity is always priced into the price of insurance, and they do have a bit of coverage. No matter how much damage does get done, they have a little bit of coverage, and everybody's got a backup plan. Insurers have reinsurers, right? But I mean, 2 big storms in one. You got to imagine they're still on the hook for a bunch, more than they definitely had put away in the coffers. But maybe the market said we'd pull back too much. Either that or the storm ain't coming now. I don't think the people in Florida would agree, but today, insurers and reinsurers were the big movers on the market, making some serious gains. A bunch of them were, not just these 3. Equifax, after the news yesterday, Equifax down 13.7%. You've got to imagine there's been some spotty options trading in Equifax as well a couple of weeks back. And we've already heard that Equifax had some executives allegedly sell some stock a few days after July 29th, when this leak in their system that lost potentially 143 million private information caches out to God knows who. They sold some stock, 2 days after that, or 3 days after that, allegedly. Some executives there at Equifax. Equifax says that, there was a security breach or security loophole in the system, something, they're trying to blame the people who designed. Yeah, of course. They weren't ninjas. They didn't come in and, put the strap to your head and get the actual names and numbers of all these people. Of course, they found some sort of a way in. That's what always happens. But you're Equifax. You have people's credit and everything there. You're supposed to be the ones that should be some of the most secure. Don't start passing the buck. Don't pass the buck to the people that design things, right? You should be checking and double checking and triple checking when it comes to this. You are the double checker, triple checker of everybody else when it comes to moves they make in their financial lives. A lot of the time, Equifax, TransUnion, all of these other companies like this, you should be doing a lot of double checking and triple checking yourself. So for all these leaks that could lead to, who knows what? Who knows how many of the 143 million names, numbers, social security numbers, phone numbers, credit card numbers, everything else that is potentially available is going to get into the hands of the wrong people? I don't know. But the market doesn't like Equifax right now. And Equifax passing the buck as the programmers of their security didn't, tie up loose ends. Yeah, that happens with everything. Every video game, anything that comes out, there's always issues constantly. Anytime you update this phone or tablet or computer you're watching this on, there's going to be a new hiccup in the new update too. It solves old hiccups. There's new hiccups. That's why you're constantly working to not lose 143 million people's identities. Equifax. For shame on you. And then the trading, alleged trading, not going to help. So that's what you've got going into the weekend. There's not really a lot of talking points. The iPhone 8 is going to make its grand debut next week, and that's going to take up a lot of people's time. The market's going to be buzzing about that and how everything ties in and all the supply issues that might crop up or probably will crop up. We have Target. Target cut a bunch of prices. I guess they're trying to compete with Amazon and Whole Foods. So Target said, you know what, we're going to cut prices across the board. There's not going to be any more, I guess, Target sales, big sales, I have this on sale, that on sale. There's going to be special sales, specialty sales, but Target is going to have everyday low prices, prices people can rely on being very competitive in the marketplace. Target had a really good earnings call a couple of weeks back, but people were not happy today with Target. The stock took 3% hit roughly around there. But I think it's a smart move. I mean, you've got to compete in the marketplace. You need to make the moves that are going to work for you. If you think this is what it is, they're coming off a good earnings call. This is clearly a retail company they're staying with it. Target had to close down here in Canada, but in the United States, Target seems to be staying with it. I would imagine you give them a chance to prove that they made a mistake. You know, like before you start jumping on. But 3% is just market hiccup because, oh God, everyday low prices, they're going to lose a ton of revenue. But that might not very well be the case, right? They probably have some workarounds, I would imagine, as opposed to just watching money walk out the door. And I guess the last main talking point before I send you away on your glorious weekend that I'm sure you so wholeheartedly deserve. You've worked hard for this. I know you have. Is Florida. Theme parks closing, airports closing, insurance companies getting, this is an up and down thing in the market we're dealing with. The people in Florida have much more to deal with, much like the people in the Gulf Coast had a week ago. There's much more to deal with than the stock market. Have a safe, prosperous weekend. I'm Cody with Wall Street Breakdown. You can click the subscribe button below and we'll bring you more content every day the market's open. Every day. I love it. Have a good weekend.